Howdy, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Debauchery Circus campaign here on the Random Rhapsody Network. I'm Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and GM, and joining me around my virtual table today are Brandie, Brie, Jr., and Steven. Say hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Today is actually the very last episode of the Debauchery Circus for 2022. This year has been a lot of fun, and we've had some interesting stories play out. And we'll be back again after the holiday season on Monday, January the 2nd, picking up for our regular schedule. Now, next Monday, we're going to be playing our annual holiday one-shot called A Desert Miracle, which will be GM'd by our very own Brie McKnight.
Hello.
Following that, we will be holding our campaign wrap-up for Imaginites, An Echo from the Stars, on Wednesday, December the 14th. Now, the next 2 weeks after that, Random Rhapsody is taking some well-deserved vacation time to spend the rest of the holiday season with our families. But you can keep up to date on all of our schedule and everything we're doing by following us on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV and on Twitter as @random_rhapsody. Okay, that should do it for the announcements. So join us as we dive into the world of Loroupa and continue on with the adventures of the Debauchery Circus. And we're back. So when we last left off, the Debauchery Circus had... I skipped. Sorry about that. My thing just froze on me. There it is. So when we last left off, the Debauchery Circus had agreed to take on a special assignment from the Erudite Conclave to determine the full extent of how far the Cult of the Dreamer had infiltrated the Church of the Five Gods. To accomplish this task, the team was sent to Ranivika to assist a senior field researcher by the name of Tomas Rothin to infiltrate the convent where Ivak Abir had spent her formative years. After teleporting into the home of a famous ex-adventurer, the squad met with a halfling researcher over tea to discuss how they could sneak into the temple of Jorun and search for clues. During this time, Tomas also brought the group up to speed on the situation with the Dreamer cult, as well as his own findings from his search inside of Abir's villa in Ravancia. Included in these findings was a partial set of blueprints and notes for an arcane device that he had found hidden underneath a workspace. These were immediately of interest to Corin, of course, who was quickly able to deduce from the blueprints that the cult was building a device to utilize the dream roots they've been collecting in conjunction with the dream seed to open a portal to the past. Now, with this new information, the party made plans to enter the convent in two groups. Ichabod and Corin would enter the temple and use Ichabod's connections with the church to pose as pilgrims interested in studying more about Jorun, while Tomas, Lapis, and Blaznir would pose as women joining the convent as new initiates in order to gain access to the grounds. This plan wasn't overly favored by Blaznir, who seemed uncomfortable playing the part of a lady. But at least it did finally make Ichabod realize that Lapis was indeed female this entire time.
All the important details of Lapis.
Exactly.
I also think it's because Blaznir was more comfortable being a fly than he was being a lady.
It was just a dress that makes sense. Pants would make sense. It's just,
yeah, exactly.
You can wear pants. Sure. A lady can wear pants.
Well, Debauchery Circus.
It's more of Blaznir fighting for women rights.
Blaznir really just wanted to be a fly. Because flies don't have to wear pants or skirts.
This is true. But Debauchery Circus, Ichabod and Corin, you stayed over at the inn while Blaznir and Lapis snuck into the temple and made their plan up to join up the convent with Tomas. The group was interviewed by the nuns there, given fresh robes, and allowed to sleep in a small room cramped with 3 beds for the night. Tomas and Lapis made it through their meetings without issue, but Blaznir unfortunately made his questioner a little suspicious. Probably about all the pants talking. But still, you were all allowed to stay the night, which you did, in that small room off to one side of a larger group of rooms, shared by the sisters. So as you all settle in for the night, the trio in the convent and Corin and Ichabod in their inn, a question comes to each of your minds. And that question is, how do you imagine how you're going to die? And since Ichabod, you're the one who rolled, why don't you go ahead and go first?
I'll reiterate what I said before we started, which was in a blaze of glory, probably killed by Blaznir on his path to become a lich. I will be the last barrier in his way, and it'll be very dramatic.
Probably. Okay. Lapis, how about you?
Lapis is going to die either one of 2 ways. She's either going to die on an adventure because, she thought she could take on the wrong person, or she's going to continue her adventure and go back to her birthplace and continue on her genetics and, die peacefully while her kids are left behind parentless.
So basically living life like a turtle. Sure. Blaznir, how about you?
Killed by Ichabod because I made one too many jokes about becoming a lich.
Probably.
Yeah, I take it too seriously.
I'm gonna find a necromancer journal and I'm gonna start reading. It's like, oh, this is how you become a lich, and immediately struck down.
Probably.
How can we both be right?
I imagine that's just how it works. You're both just always right.
We're both imagining the opposite scenario.
Corin, how about you?
Probably a magical accident of some kind, possibly while attempting to save my master from doing something drastic.
Well, there is that. That's definitely looming over all your heads. Sure. Okay. I like it. Well, Debauchery Circus, or more specifically, Blaznir and Lapis and Tomas. Lapis and Blaznir, the 2 of you are awakened at dawn by a loud banging at your door. You had managed to spend the night there, and you got purposeful sleep, so you've all had long rest. But this banging is going on at your door, startling you both awake. And I'm going to go ahead and move you to a new map, because, I can do that. I also put Corin and Ichabod down at the bottom, but we'll get to you in a minute. Anyway, you hear, as your eyes open, you see yourselves are in the small room that you went to sleep in. It's very, very plain. It's just 3 beds crammed into a tiny room with a small footlocker at the foot of the bed and just a simple table. in there as well. There is a window that shows you out onto the grounds, which is a very nice and scenic little view that you've got there. But this banging that's going on at your door, you hear a loud voice, and it says, "It's time to get up for morning prayers!" Which the voice probably drives away any remaining hope of staying in bed for even a few more minutes. As you're looking around, you notice that Tomas is already awake and sitting on the bed, wearing his nun habit that you had all been given, which are very simple gray robes with kind of a rope belt, a shawl that goes over your head with a little cap. You're also given a very small book of prayers, written in common. But other than that, that's really all you have with you. Now, you do have your gear as well hidden. You guys have a handy haversack, and Tomas had a bag of holding that you've both have secured on your persons. So you do have access to your gear. But as of right now, at least, Tomas just appears to be sitting there wearing his nun habit. He is in his gnome disguise, making the halfling look into a handsome female version of himself with a larger bulbous nose and graying black hair. He calls out, "We'll be right there," before jumping down from the bed and walking over to the two of you. He bends down and whispers in your ear, "Wake up. We're still in the convent. Just prepare yourself and let's see what's going on." But for the two of you, what do you do?
Morning.
Kind of sleepily open my eyes, yawn a bit. I don't remember agreeing to get up quite this early, but okay.
Yes, do we actually need to know how to pray?
Well, I'm not much of a religious type, so I figure we just do what everybody else is doing and kind of go with that.
Okay, we're all gonna die. Let's do this.
Let's just hope this isn't like, some really heavily choreographed thing that we should know.
And now our newest members shall come up to the stage in front of everyone and lead us in our morning prayer.
Right. I mean, you did literally just join this this convent, and so they're not expecting you to know everything. Tomas points out that you're there as initiates. You're there supposedly there to learn how to be
Penalty for failure of which is death.
Probably. So it's actually kind of strange. You all, the three of you, get up. You put on your costumes and make your way out. As you're doing so, you see the other doors in your same area. Because as you step out of the door, there's a little bit of a common area with two other doors that you had noticed also goes into rooms of other nuns. There's a trio in the room next to yours that you had saw as you were arriving for the night. You were also introduced to a couple older nuns while you were there. Sister Mary Clarence and Mary Robert, I think, were their names. But anyway, from there you make your way out, and your group just kind of falls into line behind the other nuns as they all lead you out into the main area, which as you kind of walk down the hall, you're all led into a very large chamber, which is a prayer room. It's kind of one of those places that you can see filled with benches. There's a very tall, what's the word I'm looking for? A tall altar towards the front with a small statue of just basically a cloak and a little bit of a humanoid form, but it's very indistinct. That Tomas has told you before that represents Jorun, the shadow. But as you step into this cathedral, just as the sun is starting to kind of rise up, you can see through the windows out into the courtyard beyond, which actually, you as you exited your rooms, you do see this courtyard as well. There's a gigantic tree in the center of this convent. The middle of the building is actually big and open, and there is a gigantic, very well manicured and cared for tree growing in there that you can tell the nuns take care of. And as you're sitting down, you're finding space in the pews to sit down as the rest of the nuns start filling in and taking places as well. The first thing that kind of strikes you is that while there's that altar towards the front with the statue there, you also can't help but reflect that that tree outside has equal, if not more, prominence just from the way the windows are placed in the area, the way the courtyard is situated in the center of this convent. As everyone's sitting there and kind of bows their head and begins to pray, they're definitely all looking up, and at first you think, oh, well, maybe they're just up looking towards that statue of Jorun. No, they're definitely looking out the windows at the tree. Now, are any of you proficient in religion?
It might surprise me. No. You know, I don't know what proficiencies I have. I have a lot of them.
That would be a negative, considering I have a -1 in religion. So this is gonna go great.
I have half proficiency, but you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So of the three of you, nobody has proficiency in religion. That's great. But go ahead and roll religion anyway, because they do start leading you all in prayer.
That would be a 10. Like I said, it's going great.
9. You better than me.
Baby.
You know, I just druids don't really care about religion, I don't think. So
I'm pretty sure
Finally, my time to shine.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you all kind of just start listening in, and they tell you to look at one specific page in your prayer books. You all open it up, and it's written down what the prayer is, and you all read it and kind of go along with it. It's not complicated, and as long like you're also new and nobody's really paying a whole lot of attention to you. Oh, I got a bot in my chat real quick. Let me go ahead and blow that out.
Hit him with some bot be gone.
Everyone's looking over at the newbies like, who are these pieces of ass?
Well, let's go ahead and see how well the group is holding up. Because right now you're all trying to just be simple women, escaping a troubled life by joining a convent. So, each one of you, Lapis and Blaznir, and Tomas as well, are going to make deception checks.
You know what's really simple? Not being able to read. So, just feign that you can't read.
oh,
Damn.
you just gotta one up me, don't you?
Yeah.
Feel good about myself, and then
Damn.
I got a
Peasants.
20 for 22.
Real peasants.
We
So
know shit about religion, but we can cut everybody real good.
yeah. The surprising. So Blaznir, you got a what?
25.
Yeah, I got Tomas got a 26, and Lapis, you already said you got a nat 20 for a total of 22. So very easily, like you have no clue what the hell these people are talking about, but you're playing it off. You're playing along. You're going through it, and prayers actually last like a good hour. Just sitting there reading these things, going over all of these prayers. Eventually, it does finish up, and the priest leading the whole thing. Someone you haven't gotten the name of before. A woman in her middling years. She is a dwarf. She has dark black hair and a little bit of stubble on her face. But she after everything's done, she closes up her prayer book. She says one final benediction to everyone, blessing them for their day, and then you're all excused to go to breakfast. Your group follows everybody else, going back from the cathedral outside into the main open area of the convent, to the back, where there's a set of double doors next to two sets of stairs that seem to lead up to a second floor balcony. As you all step through this courtyard and kind of walk around the gigantic tree, you notice that there is a large rope around the center of the tree and bells hanging on it in different little places, so that as the wind blows, there's just a little bit of a chime ringing out from the tree. Up on the second level, you can see, like I said, this area is open air, but you can look and you see there's a balcony on the second floor with a bunch more doors leading to more than likely other rooms. Not quite sure where everything is, but throughout your day, you're actually given a tour. But before then, you make your way into the dining hall, which is just a big old long set of tables and whatnot. All of the nuns start coming in. You all sit down. You're having a meal, which is very basic and plain, just porridge or gruel of some type with a very thin, heady beer to go with it to drink. As you're all eating breakfast, Tomas actually excuses himself, asks one of the nuns where the privy is, and goes walking away. While that's going on, Corin and Ichabod, the two of you awaken probably around 9 o'clock in the morning, after just having shared a room together at the inn. No doubt you're probably getting yourselves ready to start the day when, Corin, a voice comes into your head. You hear Tomas's voice as he says, "We've been accepted into the convent. We'll play along to scout out the area. Have not seen the Reverend Mother yet. Prayers are weird here." And that's the message that you were given. You recognize this as the sending spell, so you can reply with 25 words.
Anything you want me to say to him, Ichabod?
Okay, I imagine you relayed the message.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know why he's got to be so rude. But
It's a short message.
all right,
Limitations of the spell.
tell him we're on our way. I mean, I don't really have much else other than that. I don't suspect we'll have any problems getting in.
Just woke up, having a big breakfast, slept in.
These are
Will-
important details. Maybe we should tell him we'll meet him like later this evening if we're going to try to go to the vault or whatever it is, the dungeon.
We'll
Or do we
show
want
up
to save that for tomorrow?
after we hit the club. Deuces.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all right with that. Sure.
No, just...
No, I think it's good. I say leave it at that. That's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Okay, that's so that's the message Tomas gets, and he goes walking back into the dining room just as Blaznir, you and Lapis are finishing your meal. He leans in close to each of you. Let's go ahead and give him a stealth check. It's not bad at all. And he whispers to each of you, "The other two are on their way. They're a couple assholes."
I mean, I could have told you that.
We're in our honeymoon phase right now. So
But so for Blaznir, Lapis, and Tomas, your day kind of goes by a little strangely. After breakfast, you're led out to a garden area towards the back of the building. You actually have to go around to the very front of the cathedral, walk your way around, and eventually you're led to a garden where you're put to work for several hours and actually spend most of your morning raking, hoeing, and taking care of the vegetables. There's also a small chicken coop off to one side that Blaznir, if you wanted to, you could go over and feed the chickens and that sort of thing.
I would love to.
You absolutely can. Go ahead and make a animal handling check.
Animal handling.
At least Blaznir knows what he's doing when it comes to handling a hoe.
27. Oh, I rolled twice. Okay. Cool.
That's okay.
you just did it for a really long time.
Yeah, you know what? You just did it for a really long time. You spent most of your morning with the chickens, while the rest of while Lapis and Tomas are hoeing vegetables. It's a long day, but you do that basically until lunch. So while that's going on, Corin and Ichabod, what are your plans to try to get into the Temple of Jorun?
All right. So I imagine we both put on our priestly uniforms, and I did find out what that collar was called. It's called a clerical collar, but I also found out that it's like informally called a dog.
A what? You cut
a dog collar.
A dog collar? Ha! That's funny. You went silent, Brie.
Did we lose Brie?
Yeah, I can't hear Brie anymore.
Can
Steven?
you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay. I'm like, I didn't get dropped. I don't know. But anyway, I want to go to the actual temple part and not the convent part.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah, so I'll remind you, the convent is attached to the temple, but a separate building itself. The Temple of Jorun is the front-facing thing. That's where everyone in the town actually goes to, and then the convent is a little bit on a hill behind it.
Yeah, I'd like to start at the temple, because I'm sure from there we could probably get to the convent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you make your way out of Ranivika, and apparently the issue, I was having issue on my end too because OBS crashed.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, it's back up again now. So sorry about to anyone who is watching. OBS kind of crashed on us, but we're back. And we're still going on, and right now, Corin and Ichabod are making their way through Ranivika and towards the temple, wearing their priestly robes.
Yeah, and I also give my sword to Corin to hold since he is my squire.
Fairy Fox Uwu is saying, "Oh, I thought it was my internet." So yeah, apparently there's things going on. It's just all breaking down. But I'm pretty sure it was OBS that was the issue. But we're back. Anyway, you arrive at the temple in short order. It is a tall structure. One large area for the cathedral itself, and you can also see like the building is sectioned off and then has additional building there's just basically additions to the building from the main chapel. You arrive there and you see that it's probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock by this point. There aren't a lot of people in there. You see a few commoners making their way around, talking to the priests. The main chapel itself is just a long, wide, open chamber filled with pews with a carpet leading down the center towards a big altar where you can see a couple candelabras and a book resting on it. And behind that, there is a much taller, a good 15-foot tall statue that, Ichabod, you would immediately recognize to be Jorun the Shadow. Beyond that...
Take off my hat.
Beyond that, there's actually a pool of water surrounding the area behind Jorun, with stairs leading down into the crystal clear water. You can see that there is a priest towards the back. He seems to be working at the altar itself, kind of just polishing the candelabras. You can see a few other priests making their way around, and like I said, some just normal citizens they're talking and that sort of thing. What are your plans now that you're here?
Follow Ichabod's lead.
I turn to Corin, and before we go over there, and I say kind of hush, and I'm like, now Corin, we're going in as a representative of my order, and I think because of that, we should maybe keep our rendezvous a little bit on the DL, because I don't want word to get out that I'm sleeping with my squire.
You're ashamed of me.
I'm not ashamed of you. I just think it's a bad look for a knight or a paladin.
Yes,
who
no,
is
I
presenting as my squire. So in this scenario, you are my squire.
By the charge.
Okay. No, I'm glad that's clear. I fix his little collar and pat him on the cheek.
And you do that just as a priest starts walking up to you.
Right. Put my hands in my pockets.
Yeah. This is a human man, middle-aged, with a nicely manicured brown beard and a bald head with a bit of that, friar's ring around the top of it.
Lovely.
Yeah. He approaches you and he says, welcome, my sons, to the Temple of Jorun. I see that you are both servants of the Father Balrus. Is that correct?
Yes, that is true, Father. Well met. My name is Ichabod Sykes. I am a paladin of the order known as Fists of the Father, and this gentleman is Corin, my squire, and a clergyman in training.
Welcome to you both. My name is Brother Siegfried. Buttered. I started saying butter, like what the fuck? Brother Siegfried.
Okay.
My name is
writing butter.
Yeah,
notes.
Butter. It's been a day, let me tell you.
Brother Butter Siegfried.
Yeah.
Butters.
Yeah, it's just Butters now. It's totally Butters from South Park. Yeah, Butters. Gee, guys.
No. My voice, but his name is Butters.
But anyway, Butters.
Hamburgers.
I'm sorry, we derailed it.
Yeah, we totally did. It's done. It's over with.
No, please continue, Brother Siegfried. I want to hear what you have to say.
Gee, well, guys, I just no. I can't do that. I can't do that voice that long.
Yeah, please don't.
Brother Butters, you're grounded, mister.
We're continuing
hamburgers.
off the rails. Put it back. It's getting worse.
It is getting worse. So, Brother Siegfried, he does say to you, welcome to our temple. Any member of the clergy is a welcome addition here to the Temple of Jorun. I don't believe I'm too familiar with the Fist of the Father. I don't think I've heard of your order before. Where do you hail from?
In fact, most of us hail from Golferin. So I know it's probably not often that we get out here, but that's about to change. The two of us are actually on a pilgrimage to give us a deeper appreciation and understanding of our gods.
Indeed. Well, that is an admirable quest that you are undertaking, a pilgrimage of sorts. Well, our temple is open to you. We have our evening mass at 5 p.m. I'm sorry, actually, no, that's Jorun. It's the evening mass is at sunset in honor of Jorun the Shadow. We minister to the people here in Ranivika, and we also have our convent of the sisters of Jorun, who spend their time meditating upon his mysteries and worshipping the shadow.
Yes, I did have a particular interest in the convent. This is the convent that gave rise to the leader of our great faith. So I was hoping it could be another stop on our journey while we deepen our relationship with Jorun.
Ah, yes, High Priestess Abir. She did indeed hail from the convent, and she has made great work since then. Our faith owes her quite a bit. She has expanded religion to the far corners of Loroupa, and we are so deeply honored that she could have come from our great halls.
Ichabod nods. He's like, so it sounds like he would be willing to let us go to the convent.
So, So
I'm begging you
basically,
for sanctuary.
Yeah, you tell him you're kind of wanting to stay here for a little bit and study, and he tells you that they would be happy to make arrangements and quarters for the two of you while you stay. They have a library and all sorts of things, and he actually takes you around on a little bit of a tour of the place, and it's a very beautiful temple. It's different from what you're used to, but since coming to the main part of the continent, you've noticed that pretty much every temple is different and unique in its own way. This one, you're kind of led around and you're shown that they have a baptismal in the back of the temple, which is used to simulate being in the void, because Jorun is he represents the void, and he is also the considered to be the gatekeeper to the abyss.
Oh god, imagine creepy rituals where they drown somebody to make them temporarily die to feel the touch of the void and then bring them back.
Oh god, what was that movie from the 80s? Flatliners. That's it.
Yeah,
Remember that? Yeah.
They did a remake of it later.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's an interesting film.
That's actually an interesting thought. I never would have thought of that, but that'd be an interesting way for practitioners to do that. To actually
You gotta get closer to Jorun. I need you to die for a second, but I'll revive you.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them doing it to experience the void.
Yeah, that's actually kind of an interesting thought.
Corin's experienced the void not once, but twice. Did you like it?
It was boring.
That's actually kind of interesting though, because Corin was interested in Jorun when you were looking for a god to follow. So
yeah, obviously we're here for finding out how deep the corruption is, but I do also want to try and learn what I can about Jorun.
That's why I'm like, this is perfect because I don't have to lie at all. I do actually want to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you're led.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, I know he's taking us on a tour, so I wanted to make note of where Father Brennan Durst's office is or quarters or whatever.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Now, Father Brennan Durst, the head of this particular temple, he has a room on the second floor of the living space, which you're taken over to that, and I'll go ahead and kind of drag you around a little bit as you're making this tour. But you're first led into a little bit of a backroom area, just off from. Hold on. Off from the main temple area,
So
and you're
this
led.
map is totally dark to me.
Is it?
Yeah, except for the light coming off Blaznir.
I'm just radiant. It's okay.
Yeah, he's so beautiful. I can see him from miles away.
Oh, I know
No,
why.
it's more of your paladin sense. You know,
I'm
there's
sensing
Lich
evil.
over there.
I'm dead. Yep.
I can still smell Blaznir.
There, sorry about that. I forgot to turn it on daytime.
Okay. No.
There you go. Now you can actually see.
Yay.
Yay.
But so I guess you didn't see the other area. So there's the cathedral itself, and
Nice.
filled with pews. That big pool in the back. You can see now which I'll even show everybody watching.
Oh yeah.
This is a pretty
one's for you
This is a
out
pretty
there.
good map right here that I made here. So that right there, that's the area. That's the main cathedral, where the water in the back is where they do their baptismal. You can see the big 15-foot tall statue of Jorun, which is basically just a big cloak with a humanoid form and not a lot inside of it. It's like you have like some eyes and a very blank face, but the features are very indistinct on purpose. The next
You can
area,
project whatever you want.
yeah, basically. The next area you're led to is an area filled with confessionals. Just simple rooms with a chair and a screened window between them, where the priest would take confessions from the people in Ranivika. The priest who's talking with you, Father Butters here, or Brother Butters here, Brother Butters. Yeah, Fairy Fox is saying that is very cool, and this statue looks suspicious.
Oh yeah. Jorun is controversial in
He
my
is-
eye.
He is a little bit controversial because, you know, on the one hand, of the five gods, Crandage is really considered the worst. But Jorun is definitely a mystery. It represents the elements of the void and emptiness, and he's the sole protector of time and the gatekeeper to the abyss. So there's a lot of mixed messages when it comes to his religion and his belief system.
Mhm.
From the confessional, you're told that basically they take down people's confessions and then they send them to the void, and then give penitence based on what it is. From there, you're led. Yep.
I want to ask him to elaborate on the penance, because Ichabod is trying to find out if the religion is as strict as it was for him back home
Sure.
in regards to the the self-flagellation or whatever.
Yeah. Your self-flagellation. Yeah.
I want to know.
It's actually not nearly as bad as you're expecting it to be. He kind of starts describing how a lot of the penance that they give is reciting litanies of faith, doing good deeds, or making acts of contrition. And when you hear acts of contrition, like your thoughts, blood contrition, doing whipping and things like that. And
Obviously,
no,
you need to self-harm to make up for your mistakes.
yeah, and that's kind of what you're thinking. But then he talks more about like alms and charity and doing those kind of acts of contrition. It's less the it's less of self harm and more of a giving of oneself. So like you're seeing similarities, but there's definitely some differences.
Yeah, Ichabod stows this information for later thinking about.
Mm-hmm. From there, you're led into the living court area of these priests and brothers, and it's an interesting little space. There's a couple offices for for different priests. There's an office on the second floor for the head priest, and he also has a room attached to that. There is a library. There's actually two libraries. One full of religious books. Another one that has more leisure stuff.
Leisure stuff, you say?
Yeah. Yeah, like leisure for priests. Leisure for priests.
Don't get excited.
Here's how to make booze that'll get you super turned.
Oh, they do make booze here. They absolutely do. You're actually
Hell
led
yeah.
in. You're led into the kitchen, and you're actually led into. There's an area below the kitchen, which is a bit of a cellar, where they show you they store very large kegs of beer. And that they brew themselves, and they actually have they have beehives set up outside, which are explained that bees are very harmonious and symbols of the void as well, and they collect the mead, and they grow barley and hops, and they make a kind of a very sweet beer out of it.
Brother
Yeah,
Butters,
honey mead.
pray tell, what does a priest have to do to get a sampling?
This is something that we serve every evening at Mass, but I'm happy to give you a bit of a sampling. And he doesn't even hesitate. He just walks over, grabs a few tankards.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's good. It's very tasty. It's frothy and heady, very sweet for beer, but that hops that they add to it, and you're like tasting some orange peel and cardamom as well. It's amazing.
Brother Butters, I don't throw this out lightly, but this is divine.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Brother Sykes. We pride ourselves on our beer making skills.
I've decided these guys are innocent. They're perfect.
Guys,
So-
call off the mission. They make
Call
good
it
beer.
off.
Call it off.
I guess the world's just gonna end.
Yep, the world's just gonna end. That's
But
it.
I had the best beer ever, so it's okay.
Hey,
Now,
wait, but if the world ends, you can't have any more of their beer.
Oh, wait a minute. Slow up. Mission's back on, boys.
Mission's back on. Now, after going around that main area, you're led up to the second floor. Excuse me. Which are has a few bigger rooms there. You see the head priest room. You're brought before him, and he is a very elderly man. Long white beard, bald head, and the Brother Butters sits there and explains why you're there, and the head priest, well, very well met. It's always nice to meet members of the faith from across the continent. We don't get many people here from Gulfrin, so it's a bit of a surprise to have you here, but of course, you're welcome to stay with us and study the truths of Jorun as long as you like.
Is this Father Durst
Yes.
that we're speaking to? Oh. Well, I appreciate that, Father. I can't thank you enough for your hospitality. We will be at Mass for sure, and I cannot wait to see the convent and to delve into our studies. Are we in his office right now?
You're in his office right now.
Okay, I want to look around.
Okay.
I want to see with my eyes.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check.
I'm looking for something incriminating or that I might want to look at again in depth later. I got 16.
Okay, so you're kind of making a simple scan of his office.
Yeah, I'm looking for iconography, like tree iconography and stuff. And also, I want to say I'm wearing gloves right now. I
Okay,
don't want them to see that dream seat.
fair enough. Fair enough. You begin looking around the office as he's talking, and he's telling you like the history of the temple and how it came to Rani Vika and blah blah blah. But you're kind of ignoring that, and you're more interested in finding things there. Now, Fairy Fox in chat is saying, "Sorry to bother, but what are they searching for?" I am happy to answer that.
Absolutely happy. to
so-
answer that.
So, the Debauchery Circus is in the process of investigating this temple, and more specifically, the convent behind it. The reason for that is they've been encountering a group called the Cult of the Dreamer, whose goals seem to be trying to bring back this ancient thing called the Dreaming Tree, which was said to be a gateway to infinity, for want of better term.
It's like a planar tree.
Mm-hmm. This cult has been trying very desperately to resurrect this tree, and to doing so has caused a lot of harm. They've outright attacked a city. They've been collecting these things called dream roots, and which this group learned last session, that the cult is collecting these roots to try to open a portal to the past using a combination of magic and alchemy and engineering to do this. Now, the leader of the Church of the Five is a woman by the name of Ivik Abir, who originally who grew up here at this convent. And makes regular trips coming back to it. It's actually a place they know that she's very, very... she comes to a lot. And so they also know that Ivik Abir is a high-ranking member, if not the head, of the Cult of the Dreamer. So the Debauchery Circus here was hired by the Erudite Conclave, which is a group of lore masters, to sneak into this temple, get into the convent, and try to figure out what Ivik Abir is doing, where she's setting up this magical experiment, and also trying to find out how deeply the Cult of the Dreamer is embedded into the Church of the Five Gods.
Yeah, are they one and the same? Who knows? We're going to find out.
Yep, that's what they're here to find out for. So, yeah, absolutely. Fairy Fox is saying, that seems so interesting. Thanks for explaining. Happy to help. So, right now, Ichabod and Corin are in the office of Father Durin, who is the head of the Temple of Jorun. And Ichabod is looking for anything that strikes as out of the ordinary, or something that might have some symbolism that he would recognize. Now, with your 16, you do see the layout of the office. I'm not moving you onto that map because there's no real reason to, but. He is sitting behind his desk. There's two very large bookshelves behind him. You can see that there is a chest of drawers, an actual locked chest, like a treasure chest, in one back corner. There's also a door to another room that goes out that you're guessing might be his bedroom, but you're not 100% sure. But you're just told that his bedroom was connected to that.
Can I skim the titles on the bookshelf?
Yeah, you can make a perception check as well. With the 16, you do see that on top of his desk there is a stack of papers. In the very top stack of paper, you scanned it and you do see Ivik Abir's name on it, as though signed by her at the bottom. And you also recognize the crest as the high priestess of the Church of the Five. And you kind of scan it a little bit, and you only catch a handful of words. You can't actually read the whole thing because he's talking and he's also being animated. But you get the sense that it's actually a letter talking about funds coming out of the temple there. Coming out of the church.
Always about money.
Mm-hmm. You do specifically. You are looking for iconography, things about the Cult of the Dreamer, either tree, the giant eye in the door, something like that. You do not see anything like that in this room.
Interesting.
Okay. Now, for Corin, with your 22 perception, you said you're trying to scan the book titles. Most of them are either religious or historical texts. A lot of them are unlabeled at all, but the ones that aren't labeled appear to be more like just leather-bound books that like one would take notes in or write in.
The journals, yeah.
Journals or something along that line. Of the rest, there, like I said, there's books on religion. You see different texts about each of the 5 gods. Quite a few different books of hymns and prayers, and then there's a lot of books on history. You can see most of the ones on history talk about just have like dates or names of locations you would recognize, like the Empire of the Dauran Empire, the Kingdom of Radagast, the Kingdom of Hyrulean, that sort of thing. But since you all specifically are asking about the cult stuff, there's nothing on his shelf that outwardly appears to be cultish either. There's no tree symbolism, or there's no eye symbolism or anything like that, either on the bookshelves or anything else in the room.
Because there's a locked chest that they're probably in.
Bedroom.
That's also
yeah, I just wanted a preliminary scan so I know what to go for next time if we're on a stealth speed mission.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you do know there is that lockbox there. There is that chest of drawers. There are bookshelves, and then there's another room towards the back. But anyway, yep.
Are they gonna give us a room here in the temple?
Yeah,
or...
they're giving you a room here on the second floor. You're actually led into a room that has 2 bedrooms, which you're told. This room is usually reserved for acolytes, but as such distinguished members here to visit, they're going to let you have these rooms for your stay.
Nice.
Very simple rooms, literally 2 beds, a chest of drawers, and there's a book left in there, which is hymns about Jorun. About a hymn, a song, a song of worship.
What kind of things do they sing about?
It's mostly stuff about his symbology, the void, things about how he protects the rest of reality from the things in the abyss breaking out and stuff like that. Some of them are about his mercy. Some of them are about his judgment. Because as you're sitting here and kind of glancing through it, Ichabod, you would also know this, that a lot of the religious symbolism with Jorun is about death and like him judging. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I remember all those judgment hymns from my childhood.
So that's basically what you're getting from that. Like, I mean, if you've been to a Catholic church and seen their hymn books, that's the idea you're getting here.
Casting down the unfaithful, it's normal stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, yeah, your typical
into non-existence and oblivion. It's all great. It's all really good stuff. It's like singing a children's song, but the lyrics are really messed up.
Yeah, kinda, yeah. Now, I'm showing on the map. This here is the convent that we had talked about earlier. That the other group was at. This is the room that they were in there. This is all the other rooms. There's the kitchen, there's the eating area, there's a library, and a sitting room, and a bathroom zone there. And there's them over there, working with vegetables, gardening.
Can I reasonably assume that Father Durst is going to be giving the Mass at what did he say, sundown?
Yes, sundown. If you ask him outright, he says that he is. He does lead the evening mass.
Honor of hearing you.
Yeah, he tells you that. Oh yes, my son. I typically oversee the evening mass, and Brother Butters here takes care of the morning mass. I'm an old man, I need to sleep in a little bit.
Yes, That is wonderful to hear, Father. Well, we are weary from our travels. I think we will take a moment to, settle ourselves in this lovely room that y'all are providing for us. But I look forward to your mass this evening. I
Absolutely.
want to get to the private room.
So, Brother Butters takes you out and leads you towards the cell that you're going to be staying in. Like I said, very simple: 2 beds, a chest of drawers, and that's about it, and your book. But once there, he tells you that obviously mass is at sundown. Their evening meal is around 5 o'clock. That way they can eat and then head to mass. You asked for a tour of the convent, and he tells you that that they'll be able to arrange that. They'll have to speak with the Reverend Mother, because it's 2 men making their way through the convent. But he should be able to have that arranged for tomorrow in the late morning.
Thank you, Father. And then once he leaves and the door is closed, I turn to Corin and I'm like, all right, sounds like the best time to get into his office is going to be during Mass. So we got to find a good reason for one or both of us to be slipping away.
Yes, if nothing else, if I can slip away, I can try and get into that chest.
Yeah, I think that might be wise. I'm kind of I'm bad at going unnoticed. Let's just say that.
If nothing else, it can always be as simple as, hey, Squire, I forgot X thing I need for my prayers in our room. Go and fetch it for me, will you?
I left my hymnal behind. I pat the hymnal on the table.
If someone finds me, it's just, I lost my way.
Mm-hmm. All right.
This place is so confusing.
So yeah. I guess we'll cook up a plan over the course of the day, but that's the run-in plan.
Sounds good. Now, while that's going on, Blaznir and Lapis, after your morning of gardening, the 2 of you and Tomas are left, brought back in. You are given a chance to wash up, and then you're brought into the cathedral a second time for the second point that day to do another set of prayers. So basically, right before every meal you eat while you're at this convent, you're going to go into the cathedral, sit down, begin your prayers, and then after that you're taken to eat your meal. Go ahead and give me, Blaznir and Lapis, and Tomas too, another set of deception checks as you're trying to pretend to go along.
How bad would it be having mass after dinner? If you eat too much, then you're just sitting there bloated and uncomfortable.
I was gonna give inspiration to someone, but no one needs it, so...
Lapis, you got a 20, Tomas got a 21, and Blaznir got a 25. So they're very easily blending in during the prayer sessions, pretending to follow the hymns. I will allow the 2 of you, if you want to make one more set of religion checks.
Give yourself guidance. Inspirations.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind some bardic inspiration. Or, it's not bardic, is it?
Yeah, bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
It's bardic.
Inspiration of the bard variety.
I sure could do that, yes. Okay, yeah. You get bardic inspiration, sure. And I get guidance.
Okay. And Tomas is going to guide himself.
It's a D4, D6?
D6.
And I
Oh, that's nice.
Is it not a D8?
No,
I guess I don't know.
Level.
I don't know what level bard you're.
Only 4.
These kids, I swear.
That would be 16 for me this time.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's better than last
is
time.
it?
Okay, yeah. You got a 16, Lapis.
It goes to a D8, a 5th level.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Lapis, you do catch something out of the ordinary as you're kind of reading and doing this prayer. Now, you're told specifically by Ichabod that this is a convent in honor of the god Jorun, who's known as, like I said, the Shadow, master of the void, protector of the abyss, yada yada yada. But here's the thing that's really interesting that you kind of pick up as you're reading these hymns, is that at no point during either of the mass that you've participated so far have they ever said Jorun by name. For all the prayers, all of the hymns, they refer to their prayers to the Great One, the all-knowing mind, and the all-seeing eye. But the name Jorun is never once mentioned.
Seeing eye, that's Illuminati. Oh no.
No, that's beholders.
I got 3 letters for you. S-U-S.
I got 5 letters. S-U-S-S-Y.
I'm definitely going to,
I picked 3 letters, not 5.
I'm gonna definitely hold on to that for when we're with Ichabod again, because I quite frankly don't know much about religion, but perhaps Ichabod would be able to help,
Hey, you don't have to know about religion. You've seen a beholder before.
Oh yes, this is true. I'm definitely gonna hold on to that.
Lapis is that Always Sunny meme that's like, that doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough about religion.
Yeah.
Something's off.
Well, Lapis, you are also literally the only character remaining who's been with this group from the very beginning of the campaign. So you've seen and you've heard and you've experienced the entirety of the adventures of the Debauchery Circus. So because of that, I'm going to allow you to make an intelligence or a wisdom check to see if anything else jogs your memory.
With advantage, of course.
Like the beholder familiars and that beholder we fought and the fact that they're all obsessed with beholders in the Cult of the Dreamer.
Am I doing just straight wisdom?
Yep, straight wisdom check.
Like that?
Wow.
Yeah. Sure.
Or would that be wisdom with advantage?
I will allow. You know what? I'm going to let you roll with it. Well, do you have an inspiration or anything like that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to allow. I'm going to allow it. Just go ahead and roll with advantage.
Did I hear Blaznir say I had bardic inspiration?
No.
I did not know you were wrong.
No.
So.
I heard it calling.
No, unfortunately, because this is just to see what if it jogs anything in your memory about all the experiences you've had. But unfortunately, like it kind of makes sense. You're the monk. You're kind of just been the go with the flow, deal with things at hand. But you've never really outside of fighting the things, you haven't really paid a lot of attention. So, unfortunately, with a 10, other than what I told you, that it does strike you as odd that they don't actually mention Jorun at all, nothing else is coming to mind about it.
I have a question.
Sure.
Would I be able to make like a insight check to just get the general vibe of the guy leading the prayers?
It's a woman, but yes, absolutely you can.
Whoever. Guidance as well. Oh, 25. Oh boy. 27.
Yeah, with your 27, you can definitely tell that this nun who leads the prayer service, it's the same woman that led it earlier today, this morning, and you recognize her as Sister Mary Clarence, one of the women that brought you in when you first stepped into the convent. She is deeply devoted to her religion. Like as you're listening and you're watching and like you just can see the passion in her voice and the fervor in her eyes as she leads the entire convent in prayers.
Is it like more so than anyone else here? Like,
Riding your 25, most of or 27,
28, sorry,
28,
5 plus 3.
5 plus 3, yeah.
Yeah.
So with that 28 of yours, pretty much everybody who is who's in the convent right now is like hardcore passionate about what they're praying to. Like, there's a few of the newer people, the younger women, who are there in the convent who seem to be like they're going on with it and they're doing their thing, but you can tell that they're new as well, or they haven't been here as long, and so they're just kind of like, yeah, doing the thing. But like 80% of the people around you right now, hardcore into the prayers. And we got... Oh, 1 second, Corin. We have Manapot Studios rating with a party of 11. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Manapot Studios, and bonjour.
Hello.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for hanging out with us. We are currently in a convent where everyone's a little sus. But what were you about to say, Corin?
I was going to say, is one of the more experienced persons, do they start jumping around trying to act like they've been possessed by the Holy Spirit?
No, nothing like that. This is definitely not an evangelical church. This is basically a nunnery.
No, but you get the idea.
No, I get the idea, but no, like it's solemn. They're reading their prayers. They're passionately praying and doing that sort of thing, and you can tell most of them are pretty well into it. But that's kind of about it.
I'm going to do one more thing. While I'm praying, I'm going to try to subtly, ritually cast a detect magic.
Okay. You're going to need to... So you're just casting the spell. You're not trying to do it as a ritual, right?
I'm ritually casting it. Unless... Nah, I'll cast it normally, actually. No.
You're going to cast it normally?
Yeah, quicker.
Okay, so you are going to have to make a stealth check for this, but since you're just casting the spell, you're not doing it as a ritual. You're not doing it for as long. Is it like a minute to cast normally?
No, it's action, I think.
It's an action. Well, double check the spell.
Yeah, casting time
You
one
don't
action.
have
One action,
subtle
perfect.
spell, do you?
No, I don't.
No, but
Okay.
so you are going to be making a stealth check to do this unobserved. But since it's only an action, well, bonus action, it's a few seconds different.
Oh, 20 seconds. 20 seconds? 20.
20.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay. So with a 20, you cast detect magic, and nobody seems to be noticed what you're doing, other than let's see. Oh no, even Tomas doesn't. So you cast the spell. And 30 feet around you. I want you to do me a favor real quick.
Me? Yes.
Where are you sitting?
Oh, where am I sitting?
Near the front.
Yeah, probably edge towards the front.
Okay. Also, Lapis, feel free to put yourself wherever you were to be, too. Okay, so... And that's a 30-foot radius, I believe?
Good question. I think so.
But you could also hold on to it for 10 minutes.
You
So
can.
find a reason to switch your seat.
Oh, I actually reserved a
It's
window
a lot in this
queue.
room, though. 30-foot
think-
radius is pretty huge.
Yeah, 30-foot
So,
radius is pretty big, but I wanted to see exactly what that's going to be. Go ahead and pop up the spell real quick. I just want to see one more thing about it, one more detail.
Yeah.
Now, This is
Okay.
getting kind of sus, guys.
Well, for the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in a way, you can use your action to see the faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic. You can learn the school of magic, if any. The spell can penetrate most barriers, but it's blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. Okay, so here's what you're able to detect. The woman leading the prayer, she's just not quite at the edge of your spell. You can detect magic on her. You can also detect magic on the altar in front of her. The statue on top of the altar, you can detect magic over that, and also on the 2 candelabras on either side of it. You can detect there is a woman sitting towards the back. I'll put a token here to represent her. You can detect magic on that one. And that one. And that one. And that one is actually, this one over here, is standing next to the door that you had all come in through when you first arrived here at the convent. The one that leads from the Temple of Jorun to the convent. Which I'll even show the people on the map too, so they, or people watching, so they can see. But anyway, these individuals who are represented by tokens, they all have a slight aura of magic around them. The altar, right here, has magic that you can perceive.
Yeah. Can I just go around and see the school of magic on everybody? See if there's any like illusion or necromancy.
Make a perception check, please.
Perception check. Okay.
I think the spell just allows you to.
It allows you to, but like some of them are kind of towards the edge of it. So I just want to see how well he can actually get a look at them, because this isn't just like I'm perceiving everything. It's him kind of glancing around, looking, and actually taking a moment to focus on these people. That's why the check is there.
Yeah,
So
bad roll, but 17.
Still 17 is pretty damn good. Fucking Druid Brard.
Plus 13.
Yeah,
Plus
with
13.
a plus 13
I love
perception.
expertise. It's so nice.
God, I'm so bad at remembering the schools of magic. Give me 1 second.
Evocation, conjuration, transmutation, divination, abjuration, necromancy.
Chronergy.
Yep. So you can definitely tell that 2 of them have enchantment magics on them. One has an evocation magic on it. That's this one over there.
2 of the cultists have enchantment.
Enchantment's not that bad. It could just be like a mage armor, I believe.
Yeah.
No, that's abjuration.
No,
Enchantment. Oh, enchantment's right. Enchantment's bad.
Mind stuff.
Control.
Yep.
Yeah. Enchantment's mind stuff. Evocation is weird.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That be.
What about
Like,
that
I know,
altar
like-
and the statue?
Yeah,
Like
I'm
fire
looking
and
right
ice and
now.
stuff like that, but what would you be enchanted with? Or not enchanted, but that's weird.
Or maybe he just has evocation powers.
Okay.
And is gonna zap
I
you.
don't think I can see like.
Or he
spell
has like a magic item that is
Yeah.
an evocation item.
Okay, sorry.
Like wand or something.
Sorry. So the one that on the statue itself is definitely enchantment.
Enchantment on
The-
the altar.
Yeah, on the altar.
statue.
On the statue on the altar.
Oh, that.
And the altar itself. And the altar itself. There is illusion magic on the candelabras.
Illusion. That's probably just lights.
And then, like I said, the other ones also have enchantment magic. One had evocation. And the high priestess itself, or at least not the high priestess, but the one leading the ritual, it is abjuration.
Abjuration. Okay.
Is that the
protection.
Mother Superior?
She's not Mother Superior,
Okay.
actually. This is Sister Mary Clarence that you had interacted with when you arrived the night before.
That's where the Mary came from.
All right, so we
Yeah.
have one with protection magic. That's pretty normal. Evocation is weird. I'm curious about that, but also enchantment on the stone itself and the people. 2 people. Could be.
Could be
Okay.
bad.
Could be bad. They
It's
could
all
also.
that.
All right.
Okay. So
Also
that's
hearing.
so that's all you're able to get. But obviously you can't sense anything through the walls or anything like that.
Yeah.
So the prayer meeting ends eventually, and your spell ends as well. But apart from after that, you are led in back to the seating area. You're given another meal. This one is more of a stew of vegetables and stuff like that, and some bread. And you're also given some of that that honey beer that you're told the priests down at the temple brew. And I think that's actually a pretty good spot to take a break, because I just realized it's 4:40. So we will be back in about 10 minutes, folks. And when we return, we're going to find out what happens with the Debauchery Circus now that they are in the convent and the temple. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Howdy, everybody. We are back. And when we last left off, Ichabod and Corin had infiltrated the Temple of Jorun, acting as though they were there on a pilgrimage to learn about the religion, while Blaznir, Lapis, and Tomas Rothan are posing as initiates to a nunnery, a convent, where they are currently learning some very odd habits of these nuns that live there.
They put the con in convent.
They do indeed. Now, after your midday meal, the 3 of you are, and most of the other nuns are actually set tasks of cleaning the nunnery. You start in the downstairs area, and I'm just going to kind of move you around a little bit so you can see everything that's actually going on here at the convent. And I'll also be able to let everybody watching see as well. Here you were in the main chapel where they do their praying. You then went over to the main dining area. And then after eating your midday meal, like I said, you started cleaning. So you started off in the kitchens, which you can kind of see there. A little bit of a storage area as well. Then you're sent into the privy. You actually have to clean the bathrooms. That's fun. You're emptying the chamber pots. That's definitely a lot of fun.
There's not even stalls. Everybody's just shitting in front of each other.
Dude, this
Hands as we go.
Are we alone while cleaning?
yeah, for the most part, your group is basically all the nuns are kind of told get into groups, and you're going to be cleaning different rooms. So if the 3 of you mill up together, then you could definitely do your chores together.
Sure. If no one's watching, then I'm going to use control water to clean the bathrooms.
What? Are you going to talk like your schemes or your plans or anything? Well,
Nope.
make the cleaning easier.
Yeah,
Just
no.
make it cleaning easier. Not touching
Oh
that.
my god.
That's valid. But so everyone watches as Blaznir is controlling water to clean the bathroom, and while that happens, Tomas says, "Well, now that we're actually here and alone, let's talk about what's going to happen when we get upstairs. We need to figure out where the high priestess is, the Reverend Mother. We also need to figure out where Ivik Abir's office is. We know that she maintains an office and residence here at the convent, so we need to find both of those locations.
I'm also going to mention to him the fact that I realized that, the whole thing about Jorun was not mentioned at all. So it's like, I don't think they're worshipping who they claim to be.
Also, I just want to say they seem a bit too much into it. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't have much experience with it. All I have is Ichabod, and he's really into praying a bit too much into it. But it seems weird.
That girl leading them prayers seemed like she wanted to polish that statue, if you know what I'm saying.
Also, a couple. They also seem to be under spell effects as well. I saw a couple people with enchantment spells. I don't know if it was like an item on them or themselves.
There's the items on them. You couldn't figure out what it was, but the aura was definitely around parts of their body.
Yeah, but there was also an enchantment spell put onto the altar itself.
Is that right? Now that is actually kind of interesting. This is Tomas saying this. Chances are, if there's an enchantment on the statue, something either it can do something or it can I don't know.
That's like mind stuff that enchantment usually does, and
well, enchantments can do a lot of different things. They can just control a functionality of a spell, like
well, I'm talking specifically school of magic,
well,
yes,
yeah, the enchantment school definitely has a lot of unique properties. Now, typically when I'm in a tomb or a crypt, I'll try to cast detect magic to look for anything out of the ordinary, the same way you do. And usually, when something's enchanted, like an object, either it does something, or it usually is there to hide something else. Like perhaps that might be a way down into the crypt we've heard about. I don't know about y'all, but I haven't seen any stairs leading down.
Well, perhaps
Have I noticed any stairs leading down?
I'll let you, Boke. Since you the group has been walking around all day, so yes, go ahead and make just general perception checks. We'll say this has been your day of moving about.
Perception?
Yeah, perception.
29.
A nat 20 for 22.
Lovely. People can see.
Yeah, you're both are hella perceptive.
I wonder what that's like.
And
But now they see.
other than the two sets of stairs leading up to the second floor, you have not seen any stairs since coming into this convent. Nothing leading down.
perhaps.
Definitely interesting.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, DM. Didn't you say originally before that they're looking more at the tree rather than the statue?
Oh yeah, when they were when they were praying, their eyes were definitely going to the window where you could see the tree outside.
Since it's a tree I can see right here, right?
Yeah, you're in the bathroom. If you just open the door and kind of peek out, you can see the courtyard where this tree is.
Right.
It's pretty big. It's the three of you together could probably stretch your arms out, grab each other's arms, and circle around it. But you and Lapis by yourself, maybe not.
Okay. Since we're so close, I'm gonna just motion to Tomas and be like, "Oh, one sec. I wanted to check something," and I'm gonna cast Detect Magic again, while with the bathroom door closed, and just kind of open it and peek at the tree.
Okay, so while you're doing that, Tomas is going to sitch himself up by the door and kind of keep an eye out to see if anybody's coming while you're doing this, because you're going to take 10 minutes and do it ritually, I'm assuming?
No.
Oh, you're not? Oh, okay.
Just doing it quickly. I want this done.
Okay. Then Tomas gets puts himself up by the door and is kind of peeking out just to keep an eye while you very quickly cast Detect Magic. I want to see that radius again.
30 feet.
So, as you cast the spell and you glance out, unfortunately the tree itself is outside your radius, so you're going to have to walk over
real
there.
quick.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of
Just have a
mo-
room.
I'm just gonna get a bucket and just mosey on towards it.
Yeah.
I'm gazing at it.
I'm
Yeah.
sweeping the courtyard.
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely do that. You walk out and into the courtyard and kind of walk around the tree because you got 10 minutes, so you got a little time as you're examining it. It does not detect any magic.
All right. Then I'll just drop concentration and just kind of mutter under my breath in Druidic, just like, "What are you hiding, my friend? I should have prepared to speak with plants."
Well, if we're here for another day, you can always prepare it the next day.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, but you are a druid. You do know about nature and stuff like that. If you want to just check out the tree.
Yeah.
Not that good, but
Give it
Yeah,
a shot.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, make a nature check.
Yeah. Ooh, is there something I can do to help me? Yeah. First, I'm gonna roll on my spirit tail list.
Cool.
Just
Okay, what's that?
it's the College of Spirits bard thing I have.
No, I realize that. What does it do?
Oh, I roll d6 and there's a list of things I can get.
Yeah, it's like what your
like-
tail is for the day.
Yeah. Tale of clever animal, renowned duelist, beloved friends, runaway, avenger, and traveler. And I got avenger, and that does not help me today.
What does that do?
Yeah, I want to know.
You sure do. It does a little more oomph if someone makes a melee attack.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Just
See.
I can give it to
See what kind
someone.
of shenanigans we get up to.
Yeah, I can just give it to someone and they do force damage equal to 1d6.
Cool.
Nice.
So I was hoping for number 1 because that gets me some stuff on intelligence checks.
Oh well. Hopefully you've got a pretty good nature score.
Nope.
Well, hopefully
See?
you,
I'm not
hopefully
smart.
you roll well.
Yeah. I'm gonna give myself guidance. 10.
It does need it.
Yeah. 12 on nature.
Nice.
So, as you're examining this tree, the first thing you can tell is that it's very old. Like it's probably over 100 years old at the least. The size of the trunk and that sort of thing just tells you that. It is a sycamore tree. Apart from that, you can tell that it is very lovingly cared for and maintained. The ground around it is fresh and it's been mulched and fertilized and all that stuff. It definitely appears to be lovingly cared for and maintained, but you don't. Like, as a druid, you're fairly familiar with nature, but other than that, it's just, just an ordinary tree.
It's a symbol.
Is anybody watching me right now?
With what's your passive perception?
28.
Billion.
Yes.
4,000.
You kind of glance around, and Tomas and Lapis are over there coming out of the bathroom at this point, just, being nonchalant. You can see that there's actually a small woman, human, coming out from one of the doors from the kitchens, coming up out of that. And as she exits the double doors to the eating area, she pauses and she looks at you. She sees you there and begins walking towards you. This woman, like I said, she is human. She has very, very long gray hair that's kind of tied back, and she has one of those nun shawls over it and kind of tucked underneath it, but you can still see the long hair flowing behind her. She's wearing dark navy blue robes. She has the sash around her waist is velvet and black, and she you can see the indentation of a medallion underneath her blouse, but you can see the chain around her neck, but you can't see what that is.
We know what it is.
She walks over towards you and smiles up at you. And like I said, she's a short woman. She's probably not even pushing a full 5 feet tall. And you tower over her, Blaznir. Even in your disguised form, because you haven't had a disguise on, you're still tall as fuck. And so she's looking up at you and she says, I can't help but notice you admiring our great tree. But I don't recognize you.
Oh, I'm new here. Came in yesterday. Farm was destroyed by some marauders. A terrible instance. But I came in just yesterday for shelter and guidance.
Oh my. I'm so sad to hear that. Well, you are very, very welcome here in the convent. We are home to many who need our aid. So of course you are quite welcome.
Well, I thank you for your welcome and generosity. It means a lot right now, as you can imagine.
Yes, well, you might want to get back with your duties. It appears your sisters are over there waiting on you. And she kind of glances past you at Lapis and Tomas, who are standing there near one side of the area.
It's yeah. Sorry, my bad. I just got distracted by the tree. I used to have one quite similar in my backyard that my kids would play on. Yeah. I'll go. Yeah, sorry.
She pats you on the arm and says, you're welcome to take solace under the tree's branches whenever you like, my dear.
Thank you.
Man, Matt, it's a damn good thing I'm not there, because the only thing I can think of is cast heat metal on the medallion.
Wow.
Yeah, that'll go over well. That'll definitely
Not
go
murder
over well.
her, more like the scene from Indiana Jones where the guy burns the amulet thing into his hand.
Obviously. Oh, so you'll have the imprint?
It's like, oh, you don't worship the cult of the dreamer, huh? Because that medallion burned into your skin says otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Should have asked her about the tree. He's like,
I'll learn about it.
That's a step too far. That makes too much sense.
I'll get answers from it. It's okay.
You can't spell Blaznir without lays.
No, he's like, I'll just talk to the tree tomorrow. Like, I don't need to cut the middleman out.
Well, as Blaznir, as you go walking back towards Lapis and Tomas, you watch the little woman kind of shuffling off and walking away. Tomas kind of gestures to you and leads the both of you back into the area where your bedrooms are.
Go back in the privy.
He looks up at you and he says, "Hey, what did she say to you?"
She was just telling me to get back to work, pretty much, and that I was welcome to, sit under a tree as, when I'm not too busy. Not too much.
That was Mother Dominica. That's the Reverend Mother here at the convent.
Did I do bad?
No, you didn't. You didn't do bad. I'm just.
Okay, I'm used to people yelling at me.
I'm used to doing bad.
No, I was just warning you that Mother Dominica was one of the first individuals I realized was a member of the cult.
Right, she touched my arm, by the way.
Did you feel anything?
Yes, I believe so, but, I don't know if, maybe the illusion goes outside of, you know?
No, I mean, did she, cast anything on you?
Oh, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Okay, now you've got me worried. Why did you have to do that? Oh my god.
Well, I'm
Can you
just...
insight yourself?
Just make an insight check on myself, just to find my inner zen.
Yeah.
Sure, go for
Am I
it.
under the effect of a spell right now?
Alright, insight check.
You
Ooh.
gotta ask yourself, are you under the effect of a spell right now?
You're relatively sure that she did not cast a spell on you.
Anyway, yeah, I hope your illusions are good. But I didn't feel any, charms or anything.
Let's
And
just...
I'd be pretty good at fighting those off anyway, so...
Well, let's just play it safe and try to stay off of her radar if we can while we're here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea, yes.
From there...
That
Yeah.
tree's interesting, by the way.
What about it
I'm
is
gonna-
interesting?
It's just well taken care of, and people stare at it. I'm gonna talk to it tomorrow.
Tomas gives you kind of like an odd look at first, but then you see the gears are turning and he's kind of thinking things through, and he's finally says, "Well, if you have that power, no harm in giving it a try. Just let me know what it says so I can take down notes."
Yes, obviously. Well, what do you think I should ask it about? I haven't got that far.
If it knows anything about the people that tend it, if it sees them going anywhere, I don't know. I don't know what information you could get from a tree in the middle of a courtyard, but
Maybe ask if it knows if it would it be able to describe to you any ceremonies that happen around it?
It's...
Is it in
might.
contact with some extraplanar being deep within the earth
It's just...
that its roots intertwine with?
Yeah, is it part of an interplanar being?
Yeah, what are the other trees in the micellular conversation talking
Is
about?
it part of some hive mind type thing?
Yeah, exactly. All the trees are. They really are, though.
That's not true.
technically, yeah, it is. Trees absolutely communicate with
They do
each other.
communicate through fungus in the ground, so maybe he's talking to the dreaming tree, and he knows what's up, and he's gonna turn into an ant or something. Oh, I bet it's an ant.
Blaznir grows out his hair. Can he attach his hair to the tree and speak to it?
My hair's already long.
God damn.
No, I was making an Avatar reference.
Oh.
Do you think anybody knows what happened in the movie Avatar? Literally nobody knows anything about the movie Avatar.
It's true. Nobody knows what the hell is going on.
Culturally insignificant.
Of course they know what happened.
I will die on that hill.
They've seen Dances with Wolves. Or The Last Samurai.
You're right. Dances with Wolves is culturally significant. Anyway.
Anyway.
Or the South Park episode.
No.
The rest of your day, Blaznir and Lapis, are you spend cleaning, basically. It's kind of boring, but you do get a good lay of the land. Other than this room, there is another room with 2 more bed chambers for higher level priests. God damn.
They don't get a chance to polish that statue, do they?
They actually are not assigned to clean the main chapel. A different group is doing that. They're actually were assigned the outer rooms. But as evening is approaching, and while Ichabod and Corin, you are being sent to, or you're being called down for your mass, the mass that you're going to be doing. Tomas, Blaznir, and Lapis, the three of you managed to make your way up to the second floor. Now, the second floor, you are met by another priestess, Sister Mary Robert, who kind of walks you around and gives you a little bit more of a tour. Up there at the second level, you find that... Let's see. Oh, damn it. It didn't load for me right, but of course not. But it's okay. So at the second level... There we go. Okay, so at the second level, the two rooms that are directly above the dining hall are actually bedrooms for two of the higher order of sisters that live there. There's actually a total of... There's a total of 4 bedrooms up there. There's 2 offices, and 2 storage areas, and a library. You are then informed that at the southernmost part of the balcony, there's a door that you're led to that you notice it is directly above the chapel, directly above the altar. And you can see that it has a bit of a balcony up there as well, that leads to a set of double doors, and then there's a single door along the hallway. And you're told that that room is the office of the High Priestess of the Church of the Five, High Priestess Ivik Abir. It's her private room here at the convent. The doors are kept locked, and they don't need you to clean there. On the other side of the balcony, on the eastern side, is another room that you're told you don't need to clean because that's Mother Superior's, the Reverend Mother's office and bedchamber. And that is actually directly above where your bedroom is. Or actually, the next room south of that. It's directly above that.
And definitely while we're cleaning, I'm just going to be keeping my eyes out for anything suspicious, anything that may give us any kind of clues as to what they're actually worshipping here and what they're actually doing.
Well, there's no real clues to what they're actually doing, other than the fact that they're doing exactly what they appear to be. They're living out their lives, worshiping, something. It's definitely not Jorun, but they seem to spend their whole lives here in the convent, just taking care of it and growing their own food and worshiping their god. It's a fairly insular existence, but. We're going to go ahead and ride both of your passive perceptions. I know Blaznir's is like fucking a million.
Not quite yet.
What is your passive perception, Lapis?
I mean, it's a little worse than Blaznir's. It's 12.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Just a little. A little lower.
No, it's almost Blaznir's. It's 12.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Now, so you honestly, other than the nuns moving about and doing their business, it's fairly like you don't see anything out of the ordinary.
also more thinking too, like as we're cleaning these rooms, if I see any like idols or like little...
Oh, definitely. There's nothing out there like
Yeah.
just out in public view of anything that's
You gotta
culty.
get in those
Yeah.
other rooms.
They all
Yeah.
wear bright neon T-shirts that say "We work for the cult of the Dreamer."
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah.
we're in
I
the
mean,
room,
there
maybe
was
they
this.
have personal
It
effects.
is good to keep an eye, but you're not in
Yeah.
like Ibeck Avier's room or Mother
No.
Superior's room.
No, you're not. Yeah,
But
you're
you
definitely
are close to them.
now. If you want to try to break into that during the day, just say so, and I'll let you. I've just been describing what you've been doing throughout the day, and letting you know the locations that you are looking for.
Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting that we break in broad daylight. I don't know.
We'll wait until this evening.
Yeah.
And sneak them in there.
Sure. That's why I was assuming. That's why I didn't pause and give you a chance to do it, because I assumed you were waiting for the evening.
Yeah, also, I'm gonna kind of keep an eye out. Anything like, I guess.
Now, I will let you know that up here, where I just pinged, that's where the balcony is that leads into Abir's private office.
Ooh, interesting.
So it's about you can see the balcony. The railing is about 15 feet above you. Could you climb it? It wouldn't be terribly difficult to do so. It would just be obvious. But you can definitely see it, and you can see that there are double doors that lead out into, or that lead into the office. So there's also a couple windows there, but you can't really see anything. The curtains are closed. Other than that, Blaznir, with your ridiculously high passive perception, what I was getting ready to tell you, is that during the day, as you're going about doing your business, you do happen to notice that the higher nuns in the hierarchy, the names that you've heard Sister Mary Clarence, Mary Robert. You also have heard. Let's give them a couple. What's a couple more good nun names? We're gonna six in total. They have to be M names. Actually, I feel like
Moira.
Yeah, why not? Moira, Catherine. That's the third one. Margaret.
We already have. Margaret.
Oh, you have a Margaret.
I think Tomas is Margaret.
Oh, let's go with
Melody.
let's go with Myrtle.
Myrtle. That's
Yeah.
good.
Myrtle. Let's say Myrtle David. That's going to be the
Sister
name.
Mugwort.
Yes.
Yeah, get some weird ones in there.
Yeah. Sister Mugwort. She's a gnome.
I hope you
And
guys are taking notes.
and Melody. Their names aren't nearly as important.
No, I'm kidding.
But these are 6 women who are the kind of the upper nuns. They're the ones with authority. Yeah, they're the ones with authority that tell the other nuns what to do. You notice that throughout the day they make several trips into the cathedral before anybody else gets there. At one point, you actually see a group of 3 of them conferring with the Reverend Mother, and then all of them go into the cathedral, and are in there for quite a while. And then the 3 head nuns come back out, but Mother Superior does not. And that's kind of like the most suspicious thing you see throughout the day. It's actually, there's not a lot of suspicious stuff going on throughout the day. It's just the living the normal lives of the nuns. Now, at sundown, the final prayer service is held. And for Blaznir and Lapis, you do note that the Reverend Mother, she is the one who leads the evening mass. Ichabod and Corin, at the same time, the 2 of you are being settling down in the Cathedral of Jorun, in the temple, and they're having their own sundown mass.
So I would like to, right before we go, I want to cast aid on the both of us.
Before you head down? Okay.
Yeah, because it lasts for 8 hours, so I might as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the next 8 hours, the two of you have 5 extra hit points.
Oh, yeah.
And these aren't temporary. These are just that you have 5 extra.
Yeah, because it adds it to your current and your max.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you cast the spell Aid on the two of you, and you're both led down by one of the brother monks into the main temple to observe, and participate in mass, while Blaznir, Lapis, and Tomas are having theirs at the convent. Now, Ichabod, you said you wanted to do something while that was going on. What are you wanting to do?
While the mass is going on, so I would say, right as mass is set to begin, I lean over to Corin, and I imagine we're kind of sitting a little closer to the back, and I go, "All right, Corin, 10 minutes, run upstairs, do what you got to do," but then I, a little louder, will say, "Squire, I forgot my hymnal in the room. Could you retrieve it for me?" And as he leaves, I want to cast protection from good and evil on him, just in case something tries to charm him.
So, are you being obvious about casting the spell as you're sitting there?
I want to attempt to be stealthy about it.
Okay, then go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Here goes
or a stealth
nothing.
check, or stealth check, either or, honestly.
I'll do sleight of hand because I don't think I should get armor disadvantage with my stealth.
Yeah, I'll allow that.
All right, 16. I feel okay about that.
Okay.
And here's protection from evil and good. Just because we know from Nynaeve's journal that she went and saw the dreamer cult and then was immediately radicalized. So I do have suspicion that they're charming people. So I want you to come back to me the same way you are right now.
I'll also remind you that you have been told by Tomas that they suspect that the cult of the dreamer uses lamias to charm people.
To Gaius
them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure, just in case he's caught or something, that he doesn't come back to me a spy.
No, that's valid.
Messed up.
Okay, and so as you're sitting there, you very subtly cast the spell, touching him as he goes by. Corin. Now, are you just you're being kind of casual and nonchalant, making your way out of the cathedral, or are you trying to do a more stealthy approach?
Just casual and nonchalant.
He's just received a command from his superior.
Absolutely. Then I would like a deception check from you.
I mean,
does he get advantage because of my contribution?
I'm gonna say he can have advantage for this in general because they're not paying you too much mind.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good, because the first one was a natural 1 for a 5, and the second one became a dirty 20.
All right.
Okay.
You got this.
Yeah, very nonchalantly you get up. You feel that spell being cast on you, and you start making your way back to the stairs that lead up to the area where you are all staying. You do know that the head priest's chambers isn't far from your own room, so you sneak and make your way up to it. As you do, you are passed by one of the brothers, Brother Butters, we'll say, and he's like, "Oh, gee there, guy. Why are you up here?"
I'm here to retrieve a text my master left behind. Why are you up here?
Oh, I just had to go to the bathroom real quick. I'm making my way back.
That's fair.
I'm going to let you ride that 20 deception. And he passes you he's not really thinking anything suspicious. You've never given him a reason to. So he nods to you. You nod to him. He makes his way back down. You keep on walking to your room.
And I do think we actually left that hymnal behind. Set this up.
Yeah, it's there. It's sitting on the table. You can grab it, and then I assume you're going to make your way over to the priest's room.
Yes, making my way downtown.
Okay, You head.
Don't you have like invisibility or something?
What? Yeah, you tell me how you're doing it, and I'll tell you what happens.
Yeah, I am going to cast invisibility because I do have that on my spell list.
Hey, there you go. And you actually prepared it today? Wow.
Yep.
For those who are watching, one of the hallmarks of this campaign is that everybody has really great spells that they forget to prepare.
No, it's me. It's just me.
It's mostly Blaznir.
No, it's
Yeah,
just me.
It's been like
It's Blaznir. It's
95%
literally just
Blaznir.
Yeah, it's 95% of the time Blaznir. Every so often, Corin will come up with one, but
I'm
it's...
like, I'll use what spells I have. I ain't gonna complain.
Yeah. But anyway, you cast invisibility on yourself, which makes life a lot easier. As you make your way back out of your room, nobody is there. None of the monks are there. Butters was the only one you passed by. And so you head over to the priest's room.
Mm-hmm.
You check the door, expecting it to be locked, but it is not.
Okay. I guess this dude is either foolish or confident, and I'm going to assume confident before I assume foolish.
Okay.
And remember, you have 10 minutes before I start freaking out.
Yeah. Corin's general life rule of thumb is if you always assume that you're the smartest person in the room, the penalty for being wrong is massive.
Well, opening the door, it is exactly the way I described it previously. A simple office with a few shelves at the back, a desk, a chair, a chest of drawers, and a strongbox chest. Stop spamming text.
Well, I'm going to close the door behind me, and first thing I'm going to check is that locked treasure chest.
Okay. Making your way over to it, that chest is actually locked.
Yep. And the old thieves' tools, 26.
Wow.
You insert your thieves' tools and click, and the chest is unlocked.
Open her up.
Inside it, you find basically what amounts to is this priest's most treasured possessions. You find some objects in silver, figurines depicting different people. There's a man and a woman and 3 smaller figurines that appear to be children, all made of silver, like I said. You find a pair of candle holders, also made of silver, that's in there. There's some clothing, a cloak, a set of robes, a hat, a pair of gloves, all of which appear to be fairly old and out of date, style-wise. There's also a small leather-bound book that has a lock on it, but the lock is not actually closed. Picking it up and scanning through it, it's the head priest's journal.
Okay.
There is
Skim through it a bit.
You're taking some time to skim through it. Okay. You kind of just examine a few pages at random, and it's mostly just him talking about his life. At one point, you're reading, it talks about him being the apprentice of the previous head priest. Talks about his day-to-day work. You scan ahead a few more sections, and you find him talking about being elevated to the head priest, and that sort of thing. It's actually very innocuous.
Okay, so there's not really a big tonal shift at any point?
Not that you're gathering, but like I said, you only have 10 minutes, so I'm assuming like you're taking a couple minutes to sift through this.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I'm going to attempt to put everything back exactly the way it was.
Make an intelligence check.
Chest back up. Sure. I think the only thing I probably would have removed is the journal. 12.
Yeah, you can vaguely remember where things were put back, and you stuff it all back in there. And we'll say with that 26, you're able to re-lock it.
Yeah. Then do a quick search of the desk, and then
And
check,
he did have his bedroom beyond the door.
check the side
Mhm.
bedroom or whatever that is.
Yep. Go ahead and make an investigation check for the desk.
Sure. 24.
With your 24, you do find some paperwork that I described as being from Abir. It actually talks about the transferring of funds from Ravancia over to the temple here in Ranivika. She has some instructions on hiring a stoneworker to work on something up at the convent, and that to speak with Mother Superior specifically about what that is. The next one, also from her, talks about some supplies and things like that she was sending over. That would then be transferred again almost immediately. So just be aware that some shipping containers are coming over, but they'll be removed pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
The third one is a missive about recruitment numbers. Wanting to pull the faithful in his temple, looking for more people to do the god's work, and so she's making requests for him to look for people to basically be laborers or workers, and for him to feel out people and see how many he can recruit.
Gotcha.
So it's stuff like that. Other than that, in the desk, you find an iron lockbox that basically fits in half of a drawer.
Mm-hmm.
You find a glass bottle filled with an amber substance that smells strongly alcoholic, as well as a couple glasses. You also
You better take that.
You also find a very ornate Church of the Five Gutenberg-style Bible, inlaid with ivory and silver.
Mm-hmm. Okay, is the lockbox locked?
It is.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a quick shake of it, see what I can hear.
Sounds like coins.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I'm just putting it back.
Okay.
Okay, what about the spare room?
The bedroom that's attached to the office is nicer than the one that you are in, but it's still very sparsely furnished. The high priest seems to live a what's the word I'm looking for?
Spartan
Spartan,
existence?
Spartan existence, where he's very minimalist. He has a chest of drawers, and not making. I'm not going to make you roll an investigation for that. It's just clothes. So there's nothing else in there. You go ahead and make an investigation for the rest of the room.
Sure. 26, even better.
Yeah. You find a dagger underneath his pillow. It's actually very ornately carved, and as you pull the blade out from its sheath, you notice that there are some runes carved into the blade.
Okay, what kind of check do I need to make to see if I recognize them?
That would be an Arcana check.
Jeez,
Oof.
11.
Yeah.
Yoink it.
You do not recognize the runes on them, unfortunately. You also find a small curio cabinet to one side that you open up, still writing that 26, and there is a silver statue inlaid with sapphires of Jorun.
Okay. So I'm not going to take the dagger, but what I am going to do is find a piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
and then just do a rubbing of the runes from the dagger.
Ooh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
Pencil rubbing.
Okay.
And then if I don't see anything else particularly interesting, I'm just gonna leave and go back to Mass.
Ichabod is anxiously tapping his foot.
Yeah, you probably get back a few minutes late, actually.
Yeah,
Looking
I'm
through
like
everything.
stressed.
But you make it back, and you can't help feeling a little bit disappointed that there wasn't anything incriminating in this priest's
We
office.
still learned something.
Yeah, if I had had more time, I would have checked for like secret worship things in his room, but I didn't want to chance it.
Yeah, I feel like the convent is the more important part anyway.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you, like, with your still writing that 26 investigation you did of that room, like, you didn't see any places that stood out as though that might be something hidden there, or maybe there's like a secret door or anything like that. Like I described, it is a very plain Spartan room with very few features to it.
That's fine.
Yeah, once he shares this info, we'll talk.
If the text that I'm bringing to Ichabod has one of those bookmark tail things, like, attached, then I will just put the rubbing of the runes in that specific spot that I put the bookmark.
Okay.
And write on it, like, HP's room or something.
Okay.
And just, like, kind of, point out to Ichabod, hey, look at this bookmark.
Yeah, you make your way back down to Mass, and you sit down next to Ichabod, and you pass him the hymnal, so he can take a look at that rune etching as well.
Mm-hmm. I chastise my young squire for being late.
Yeah, you probably
Very
do.
softly.
You kind of talk him down a little bit, and no doubt the people, because Mass is full, by the way.
Oh yeah,
like that's something that you would have specifically been interested in noting while Corin was away, is that there's a ton of people in here. This chamber can probably house a good 100 or more people, and it's actually standing room for those that crowd in there. There's probably double that in here. The people that have seats are kind of lucky, and the people that don't are just like standing along the walls, along the side, as the high priest does his mass.
Can I roll a religion check on the sermon itself to see if it seems pretty standard?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what I would expect.
Make a religion check.
I got a 15.
So, like I've said before, there are subtle differences between what you experienced in your nation and the rest of the world. But apart from that, those
I've gone to a lot of
differences,
temples outside of my country too now. By this time, at least.
And so you're kind of getting used to the fact that there's differences, but the things you're looking for specifically are like things that are outside the norm, so far away from and far removed that it would stand out. And in the service itself, you notice that it's actually very typical. He talks about Jorun a lot, the wisdom of Jorun, the benevolence of him, He talks a lot about your death and being judged by Jorun in those last days, and that's why you should be living a good, godly life now. That way, when Jorun does finally judge you, he judges you positively.
Ichabod is actually moved by the sermon. He's like, this is great.
Absolutely.
So Corin makes his way back. I give him a under my breath chastising, just slightly loud enough for people to hear, so they're like, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, and people do definitely notice it, and it's a little standout. It's mostly like commoners that are in there, but some of them do give you sidelong glances.
That's fine. That's fine by me. And then if I can peek these runes, I guess I could make like an Arcana, or could I make a religion check?
It's not religion. It's specifically Arcana. Yes.
All right. Well,
but you can.
I shrug at Corin like this isn't really my area of expertise, but I'm gonna try. Because I get a plus nothing. Ooh, even 15.
Wow. 15. Like you said, you're not a wizard. You're not somebody who's very studied in the arcane. But you do remember that one time in battle you got stabbed by somebody and it hurt. It fucking when you got stabbed, it was like a hot knife. Yeah, it's like a hot knife going through butter. And you remember these fiery runes that was on that blade that you got stabbed by, and like. You're thinking to yourself, God, that kind of reminds me of that one time. I think maybe it's a fire engine.
I do have a PTSD war flashback.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
People just think you're caught by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, I'm like stressed out. Okay, so can I presume from that it's some kind of enchantment on the blade to deal extra damage?
Yes, that's what you can assume.
Okay. Cool. All right, we're gonna chill out and be normal for the rest of the sermon. Totally normal.
Totally normal. Yeah, and you witness a few people go up and do the little baptismal ritual where they put them in the water and hold them down for a little bit to feel the void and that sort of thing.
Oh, I step out like I'm about to go. I'm like, if Corin does not stop me, I absolutely would do it.
Would you stop him?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Then you go up and
smash the book shut, stick it in Corin's arms, and just start speed walking.
Yeah. They make you take off all of your extra things that you might have on you, but then they take you out into the water and kind of do that whole baptismal thing where they put their hand on the back, hand on the forehead, push down into the water, hold you there, and then the hand is on your forehead and holding you down, and like you start to fight a little bit, but the priest is pretty damn strong and holding you back. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Well, I feel like I want to.
Oh, you want to? So you wouldn't fight?
I absolutely want to experience it, but like maybe my body is fighting, but I don't think I think I would be trying to hold myself to be strong.
I imagine. So I think then what we're going to do here is we're going to make a Constitution check to see whether or not you can hold back the terror of being submerged and held underwater. Yeah.
Is it a Constitution saving throw or just a check?
It can be a saving throw.
That's a 20.
Okay, then you stoically hold yourself rigid as they're holding you back.
Experience.
And he holds you under there for a while until you're hearing your heart pumping in your chest. Your consciousness slowly starts to slip away a little bit, and in that one brief moment, you feel just that empty void of nothingness that just goes over your mind. Your vision goes black, and just for half a second, you feel the oneness of the void.
So peaceful.
Until you are pulled, sputtering and coughing, out of the water once again.
Oh man, existence! I hate it! Put me back into nothing!
No!
I don't want to go back!
God,
Ichabod feels that way a little bit. He does feel that way. But
all your stuff is here.
I'm like, but it's so peaceful. Thank you, Father. Thank you.
And he does this whole blessing, the blessings of the void upon you, my son. And he sends you back, dripping wet, into the audience.
I look like I'm in total rapture.
Probably.
I walk back to my chair. Or my standing room only, I guess. Next to Corin. Corin, you should give it a try. Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe
That
tomorrow.
can happen.
Yeah, what's the worst
I
that
just
can happen?
look at Ichabod dryly. I've experienced the void, and to me it was mostly just boring.
I guess we can agree to disagree sometimes.
As while that's going on, Blaznir, Lapis, and Tomas, you too have your evening mass, but very, very different than what they experienced. It's another deep prayer session. It's not like a sermon. It's just another long prayer session with doing different prayers each time. but for an hour you just sit there praying to that thing that's the Great One, the all-knowing mind, the all-seeing eye.
Is Blaznir bored? Is it boring?
Yeah, how are the two of you feeling?
Con save against being bored.
Look,
I don't need to make a con save. I am bored, okay?
It's a wisdom save to see if he actually acts out because he's bored.
No.
I mean, I'm game for it if you are, Blaznir.
Wisdom
Blaznir
save?
has ADHD. He can't do
Sure
it.
do.
Oh, he's
wisdom
resisting.
save.
He's masking so well.
Wow, yeah. Somehow, nobody knows how this happens, but Blaznir somehow manages to keep his composure and does not freak out and start.
Like, I'm normal.
Yeah.
I'm just like, like very low down, just using minor illusion to entertain myself.
I was just imagining that
It's got a fidget
one Calvin and Hobbes cartoon where he's in school and then suddenly freaks out. He's like, "What am I doing in here? This is the only life I've got!" And he runs out.
Pretty much.
But that's all held back by the power of a fidget spinner. So
Yep.
it's fine.
Well, Lapis is used to meditating and sitting for periods of time, not doing things. So.
Yeah, so it's probably a lot easier for you than it is for Blaznir.
Oh, I'm sure.
Tomas, on the other hand, he's like, you've noticed that since the day began, he's been more and more attentive to what's going on. Like, you can just obviously he's still under the illusion of his the hat of disguise, but you can see those little eyes just darting everywhere, taking down every detail he possibly can. It's an interesting thing.
Trained field researcher, even though religion does make him a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, pretty much. But he is definitely committed to his cause, and he's doing it. But that's I think was probably a good place to end things for this evening, because next week, not next week, but whenever we return once again, it's going to be the evening time, and it sounds like you're all going to try to get up to some shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Look,
Now that I'm baptized and all my sins have been erased, I can create new sins. I can get filthy again.
Oh yeah. Just
Well-
remember, next week is the one shot, and then we're off for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Mhm.
So if you come here expecting to see us, you'll see some of us next week, but not anybody after that for 2 weeks.
Well, I'll probably
You'll
throw
see
up
me
some.
for sure.
Yeah, after next week, I'll probably throw up some reruns for the 2
rerun?
week. Yeah, for the 2 weeks that we're not.
Ooh, since there's 2 weeks, you could do the one shot that stretched into a 2-shot.
Oh yeah, that's a good
The
idea.
double shot.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that.
Defenders of the Wall.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun.
It was goofy. Not
Okay.
as goofy as my one shot's gonna be though, so tune in.
Yeah, I'm hella
I'm
looking forward to
playing
this. Yeah, well,
It's maximum goofy.
Can't-
So goofy.
can't play in all of them, but this one should be interesting because I'm playing a character that everyone's been kind of bugging me to bring out for a while, the inventor of gunpowder. So I am playing Falderal Fuckleral, the nephew of Lohim Fuckleral, who is a master tinkerer in Morag. He's a character that came out in the Fab 5 campaign, and so I'm going to play his nephew who invented gunpowder.
So that the rest of us can be gunslingers.
Yes, so,
Since you're bringing out the inventor of gunpowder, how about them Warforged dough?
we've talked about Warforged. Warforged, I have plans for in a future campaign. So we'll see those at some point.
We're
Nice.
starting next week at 3, is that right?
Next week, Alyssa said the earliest she gets home is 6 o'clock.
Oh my
Yikes.
god.
Yeah,
All right, we'll talk about it.
yeah. We'll have to figure it out, but that's okay. Well, I'll announce that when we
Yeah, stay tuned. for
Yep.
an
All right.
But anyway, I think that's a good place to end things for this evening. So, Thank you to everyone who watched today. We very much appreciate you tuning in, and we're happy to have you hanging out with us.
Yeah, we
Come
are.
back next week for our holiday one-shot run by Brie here, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to playing my gnome character. And then after that, have a safe and happy holidays this holiday season, and we'll see you again in 2023. So, once again, on behalf of everyone here in the Debauchery Circus, I want to say thank you for watching. Have a great evening, and we'll see you in 2023. Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.